Hello and welcome to the Masters of Evil podcast. It's been quite a long time since we've talked and seen you all, and quite frankly, we're happy to be back. My name's Tom Tom, and I'm here with Tom Tom and Tom Tom. Tom?
Tom?
Yeah, something like that.
Hi, I'm Mike, aka Strange Spaceman on IG, and I'm joined with some of my brothers in arms, comic book arms from the Masters of Evil. One of the hottest gangs around.
I'm gonna change my name to Doom Lizard.
We're Doom Lizards. We're out here. We're just disrupting the comic book and collectors societies, and doing everything we can. I'm joined with the boys. What's up?
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in a home. I have my own house.
Explain the swamp thing behind you.
Oh, so yeah, I forgot.
Get it?
So swamp is so I had that from way back in my sophomore year of college, I think. So it's like very, very long. It's at least 15 years old, and I kept it with me and everywhere I lived, and it always went in the place that we drank. It was always in the bar area, and so you never saw that in my old house because I had an actual bar like Tom's, but I recorded in the comic room, not the bar, and so I have not sussed out what rooms are going to be what in our new house. All we've done is really set up our bedrooms and the kids' bedrooms and her workspace, and so now I got to figure out where my comic space and my hangout podcast space is.
Because they call them swamp ass.
Swamp ass.
Old swamp ass.
Or swamp thing.
Swamp ass.
Yeah.
So I just got a message from Jeremiah that says that our sound is shit. Apparently,
Really?
He said that he went out and came back in. Oh, it's his TV. He sucks. Thank you, Jeremiah. I appreciate that. Better TV, bud. That sucks. Whatever that is, that sucks.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. I mean, I have we're in good shape here, it looks like.
Cool. Anyways, continue.
So what's going on, boys? It's been a while since we talked. So I mean, it's been 3 weeks. And I think obviously the big thing we wanted to talk about tonight was Hawkguy. And I believe we all
Hawkguy.
Yep. And I believe we all did. So did we all read the entire series, the comic book series?
Tom made me read it all.
Oh,
you finished it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was only gonna read the first 2 volumes because I waited to the very last day.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, my appointment canceled today, so I was like, "Cool, I can play video games for a couple hours, and then I can read goddamn Hawkeye."
nice. Well, then I'm gonna feel even worse because I have an issue and a half left.
Oh,
I was sitting on the toilet before this, and when Mike was like, "Hey, bring some pickups to talk about," I'm sitting on the toilet finishing the second to last issue. I was like, "Okay." So I don't know how it completely ends, where the actual end is, but I was pretty close.
I think the end is I think it's just. I mean, I'll just. We're not going to talk about the comic book right yet, but I think you'll have enough of a gauge of the series to be able to talk to it. And to be honest with you, I don't know that there's really much to spoil in that regard. I think it's a pretty straightforward story.
There's 2 things left that could happen in those last 2 issues, and so that's it. I'll find out.
Yes, correct.
But we love you. How well you said
that. And we appreciate you watching us, the only person ever to watch us. Even Tom's girlfriend has dropped off on this point because of only one. It used to be 2 people, and now there's only 1. So before we talk about that, we're also going to talk about the show, which none of us, I think only Alan has watched today's episode. So we're not going to talk about that, but we'll talk about what we feel about the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus. And I think before that, we were going to do some pickups because it's been a while. And I think I went to a Comic-Con almost a month back at this point, right? I went to Did I show stuff from that? I feel like I did, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So I got something back from there that I've been waiting on, and then before that, we all did a little Secret Santa. I think we did it last year too, or was this our
No,
first year?
we didn't do it last year. We did the year before last year.
Oh, okay.
I think we
So we
talked
didn't
about
do,
it last year. We just never did
yeah.
it.
So the person who did mine, ordered it all early because of shipping and all that shit, and was terrified it didn't show up, and it ended up showing up a full 10 days earlier, and so he hit it right on the fucking nail. So
And the person he's referring to is not in this room because there are other masters that don't do the show with us. So
Yes.
just to throw that out there, if you didn't actually know that we have a couple other dudes that we cherish pretty close to our heart. They don't do the show with us.
Yeah. So part of our little friend group here is collective, if you will, is El Fuzzo and Batmax and this guy named Roy, who I don't really know him very well, but he shows up from time to time. He's pretty cool.
Roy's dead.
He popped in today and then never replied to anything.
I'm pretty sure Roy's dead.
Yeah, I think it's just like his wife opening up his phone every once in a while to see what happened. So anyway, so there's about 6 of us that hang out, talk on a regular basis, and so I don't know if I should spoil who sent this to me because I know, that's okay, right?
We all know.
Okay, so
we all know already.
Oh, you do? We know who? I don't know. I didn't know.
He posted it in the fucking group chat.
So Max sent me this NECA figure to line up with the other Misfits NECA figures that I've been picking up, and it is a Christmas one, and it is fantastic, and it has the Crimson Ghost in Santa Claus outfit with a little green bag and changeable face, and it's got like a frozen zombie face on it, which can you see that?
Oh yeah.
This one right here. So it's like blue and like light blue. It's pretty cool. It's got and then obviously, yeah, it's like a camo, and then obviously the original over here. So pretty cool. The box is awesome. I love the boxes on these things. Everybody opens these up. I haven't yet to open one up. I don't collect many NECA figures, but that's one. The second thing he sent me is spectacular. So it's a GG Allen rock and roll terrorist activity and coloring book. And it is spectacular. I mean, Max, you hit everything I care about most in life right now. GG Allen and the Misfits. I mean, I'm a big fan of like the Murder Junkies, GG Allen and the Murder Junkies, like, and just the stories around it. And like, I've watched all the documentaries, I've listened to all the podcasts about him. Like, I have a somewhat skewed affliction for this human being, which I probably shouldn't have. But hey, live fast, die, right? As we all say. So
his brother lives 20 minutes from me now.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. Like, it's very comic book-esque. It's really rough. I don't know if you could see, like, and it's very true to who GG Allen was. So that's awesome. Thank you, Max. The other thing is, I'll say it's almost exactly, so it's from the same, I got he sent that stuff from the same place that I got the stuff for my Secret Santa, and very close to the same type of gifts.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is interesting. And then my last pickup is something I already showed, but I just I sent it off to get framed, and oh god, every time I look at it, I just fall more and more in love. So I was at a con, Grand Rapids Comic Con. It was a fucking anime con, but Jay Lee was there, and I commissioned him to do a full body portrait of Adam Strange, the one, the only, our master of the Silver Age, and he did so, and he said to me he would do he would add a monster to it, and I was stoked. And in the back of my head, and I even messaged these guys, I'm like, God, I really wish I would have asked it to be Starro. Starro would be so cool. And he did that. And it turned out amazing. And then I got it framed, and this is the final piece. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. I went with the red frame for obvious reasons because Adam Strange is red and gold. I don't know if you can get a good picture of that, but the big eyeball of Starro and all that. So that's that.
Are you gonna put it over your bedpost so when you and your wife are, having a time, you have something really sweet, and you're like, oh yeah, strange it up, baby.
I'm giving her that strange.
Well, it's all strange at this point, to be honest with you. No, she doesn't deserve such a masterpiece as this. No, I decided, like, I have my thing with like pre-code horror and the pre-code sci-fi stuff that I normally look for at cons, and like I've stopped doing signings a long time ago, and I slowly started getting into commissions, and now I'm convinced that I'm just going to commission Alan masturbating without his face in it from every artist that I can get, and see how that's what the resale value is that on eBay or what's not whatever the fuck it's called.
Nobody's gonna buy it.
What do you guys got?
Go ahead, Alan.
Anyone?
What do you got, Tom?
I got a couple things in the mail from friends. Some things I bought. We had a Secret Santa at work, and I'll be honest with you, the person that got me was the worst person I've ever had the entire time, 7 years that I've done Secret Santa at work. She had no idea of anything I like. The weird thing is, so we print out these pieces of paper and you fill them out with you fill out 3 hobbies, 3 places you like to eat, 3 treats that you like, 3 things you wish you had, shit like that, right? So normally people would go off of those things. Well,
so I'm curious to hear what you wrote in all those subjects. Like,
I could pull it up really quickly, actually. No, actually, I couldn't. I don't have mine saved. I have the other person's saved. But so like for hobbies, I was like, listening to music or playing guitar or collecting comics or vinyl or whatever. Yeah. Things, treats I liked. It was like dark chocolate or pumpkin cookies or blah blah blah. Right. Da-da-da.
Butterfly kisses.
Is pumpkin cookies a real thing that you like specifically?
Oh yeah. Well, Nikki makes these pumpkin cookies.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I assume.
Die for.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that maybe someone will find something like that and it'll be, close to as good. But anyways, so the way that we do it at work, which is kind of obnoxious to me, and maybe it's because I work in like a government job where everyone makes good money, but it's a month long. So it starts in the middle of November and goes to the middle of December, and you're supposed to give stuff to your person all that whole time. So you drop off little things on their desks, like as you go, and then the last day we have a big lunch with everybody, and you reveal who your person is, and you give them like one bigger gift, kind of deal.
I don't put that much thought into my own family. Like,
see, exactly,
my coworkers.
And this person did not either. Oh my god, the shit they left me made no fucking sense whatsoever. One time it was a little chalkboard, like a stand chalkboard that said scoreboard on it. It had a bunch of lines, and I have no idea what that's for. That for at all.
It's the amount of times they followed you home.
Right? So I knew it was somebody that never has actually had a real conversation with me. So thankfully, in the section that said things you wish you had, I literally just put actual items. I was like, I want this book, I want this movie on Blu-ray, and I want this magazine or something, not like I wish I had chocolate or, So everything she was giving me was pretty much dog shit. And then the last gift is a big bag, and I'm like, all right. And the first 3 little things I pull out of it are little plants, like little planters of like mint. And then one was like time, and it made it like an alcohol joke, you know, like time for a mojito, or, you know, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, because I'm an avid gardener. We all know that. Never in my life. So then the next thing I pull out of there is a box, and it's a pumpkin bread mix that I have to make my own pumpkin bread. You want me to make my own? You're fucking crazy. So that was dumb as hell. And then there was one other thing in there, and I pulled it out, and it was actually one of the things that I wrote on the things I wish I had. So she bought me Elvira's autobiography, which I did want, and I'm glad I have. So that finally was cool. After that whole month of bullshit, I got one book that I really wanted. So, long story short, I have this new book. I got 4 chapters into it last night or something like that, and I had no idea that she had 3rd-degree burns over like a third of her body when she was like 2 years old. Three or 4. She climbed up on a chair in the kitchen when her mom were boiling eggs, and she pulled that whole pot of boiling water down onto herself and just like was shedding skin for a couple of years, and crazy. You look at her now, and that woman doesn't look like there's anything wrong with her skin whatsoever. At 70 years old.
Potentially why she wears so much makeup also, though.
It's quite possible. But even without it, when you see her as Cassandra and not as, you know. Yeah. Another thing about this, too, I was really worried that the person that bought it from work actually looked in it, because there's photos in it. And, like, photos of, like, her rack. Like, you know, I can't show that on YouTube, but, like, full rack, you know? So I was hoping that she didn't actually look through it, and then I'd get in trouble. Couple other things that were actually gifts.
How would you get in trouble if she bought it for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I couldn't, or I guess she would look at me differently because she bought a book I wanted that had nudie photos in it.
She gets fired.
That's pretty fucking prude for Southern California, I feel like.
Government work, man. These were gifts that I probably shouldn't have opened, and if Nikki's watching this, she's gonna yell at me. These were from my mom.
Well, there's 3 people watching us, so it might be her.
Yeah, probably. Sorry, I opened them when I got home from Florida. My mom gave me all my Christmas presents and just said, "Take them home," and I went, "Okay," and I came home and I did terrible things.
He fucked it.
I fucked it so hard. 2 of the things that were in there were these 2 books, and they're like short horror stories, but they're hosted by Zachary, who is a horror host, kind of like Elvira, but before her. He is no longer with us, but I was flipping through these, and there are some pretty cool stories, but the problem is that I don't know who he worked with to print these, but he has like little, you know, as a horror host, he explains things or whatever before or after a movie. He does the same thing in the book, but the way they're printed, it's like, here's a line way down here on the fucking bottom that relates to the story on the next page where it continues on the top. Well, there's no point for that at all. It has plenty of room to fit this for this story, and it's like that all the way through, and one of them doesn't even continue in the right spot. It starts on the bottom and then doesn't continue on the next page. It continues on the bottom of the next page instead of the top.
I don't know much about how books are printed, but could that be like a printing error or something like that?
A very strong possibility. Or they just didn't have an editor when they put these together. I don't know.
Oh, so like maybe the actual document was off, and so when it was printed on the paper, that's how it showed up. Yeah, that
right. This is a very real possibility. And then I got another printing of Cycle of the Werewolf by Stephen King with illustrations by Bertie Wrightson. I think I have 3 different printings of this by now. One with Wrightson's signature, as well as a print of every single one of these from the Nakatomi website. It's in a big box, and I've posted that a bunch of times. And I got some Usagi stuff, which is cool. I haven't been reading the new IDW series that Stan Sakai's been doing, but this is the first volume of that, so I'm excited to dive into that. as well as this guy that I bought myself recently because it went on sale. It's freaking massive. It's got these two big old hardcovers in it. And this is the entire 7 volumes that Fantagraphics put out of Usagi Yojimbo. They're all in black and white. So there's some extras as well as those 7 trades. It was like $40 off one day on near Black Friday or something like that. So I bought it real quick. The only other things that I've gotten recently, I bought some tapes recently or been given them. A couple that I bought I bought Orca the Killer Whale the other day. I've never seen this. I've always seen the photo.
Spectacular.
But I have no idea if the movie's any good or super terrible, so I'm excited about that.
I'm sure it's horrible.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Same with this one. It's a movie called Bleeders. And Matt, our friend, has a copy of this as well. But I bought this copy that has a blood bag attached to the front of it.
Awesome.
Because that's fucking sweet. Who doesn't want that? They're ridiculously weird vampire people. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. A friend of mine bought me this the other day, Frankenstein's Castle of Freaks and The Mad Butcher double feature in a clamshell that I've never seen either of those, so I'm looking forward to that. This one, Matt actually did a video on his channel, his CV Strange channel on here on YouTube. It's Spookies, but this is actually an episode of Joe Bob Briggs. He did an episode watching Spookies, and so this is his show from Shudder, watching that movie and talking about it. It's made by Ship to Shore Media, and they've done 2 other ones so far. One I've already got, the other one hasn't come in yet. It's a new Christmas movie, but this one's, I haven't opened it yet, but it's a cool blue tape, so that's pretty sweet.
Oh, nice.
And the last one was Friday the 13th, part 6. It's pretty decent, but the main reason I bought it was because I'm going to a con at the beginning of February where the actor who played Jason and the main actor, Tommy, are both going to be there. So I'm going to take that and hopefully have them sign it kind of deal. It should be fun. But yeah.
What con is that you're going to?
It's called Creepy Con. Creep with like an the IE is exclamation or is like bold because it's in the Inland Empire. The thing I'm most excited about that is they just recently announced that half the cast from Killer Clowns is going to be there, and I'm fucking stoked. So the main actor and actress will be there. 2 of the actors that were in the clown suits will be there. The 3 brothers, the Chiodo brothers that directed, wrote, and produced the movie are all going to be there, as well as the composer who did all of the music for the movie, which I've met him and I've met the 3 brothers before. So they're all signed on this big poster that I have, but I'm going to get all those actors to sign that and then everyone to sign my tape as well. So I'm thoroughly excited about that.
What day is it, and when is that you're going?
February 5th.
February. Oh, so you got some time. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the actor who played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw 2 is also going to be there. So I'm on the lookout for a copy of that tape to take that as well.
Where do you find most of your VHS stuff? I know some of them you get that are the, I don't know what you even call them. They're what specific? They're designer made almost.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you call it.
It's hard to say if it's a bootleg or not, but when
it's not really bootleg. It's more of an art form. I feel like.
Yeah. When
a lot of the ones you get
gets put on a tape,
Yeah, and they design their own sleeves and stuff like that. I feel like that stuff is pretty cool. I just don't know what you call it. I don't think bootleg is the right answer.
It's a bootleg,
right? Yeah, I guess realistically, it's a VHS tape. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Talk about Alan, the ultimate bootlegger over here.
That's just directly from their website, but this one here, as well as both of for Bleeders and for Orca, I've been buying those off of Instagram. There's a lot of dudes on Instagram, just like with comics, that will put up tapes randomly, and I think the most I've spent doing that was like $55 the other day. But it was only on 3 tapes because one of them. Have you ever seen? So I haven't. I've only seen parts of it. But the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, like back in the 40s or 20s or whatever that was, forever ago, right? You may have seen that, but there's a newer movie that I think was in the 2000s. Maybe it was in the 90s, but I feel like it was. I'm gonna feel really bad. But there's a newer movie called just Dr. Caligari, and it's about a lady instead of a dude, and like everything I've seen about it, it's really fucking weird, really weird. And someone had it on their Instagram for sale, and I've never seen it for sale before, except for on eBay. It was on sale for like $80 or something, and this guy wanted like I think $40 for it, and I was like, fuck it, and I paid for it. So yeah, that was the most I think I've spent on a VHS tape before. But yeah, so mostly Instagram. I bought a couple things off of eBay, but not a whole lot. And then thrift stores, you get lucky, but you're normally going to get the same old comedies and shit people just don't want anymore. Like I gave a copy of Jerry Maguire on VHS today for a Secret Santa at work. Just get rid of it.
This is also part of Tom's pickup. It's Lock and Key Sandman crossover. This guy, I didn't know this guy was actually the Mark Nelson guy is actually local to Texas.
Huh.
But it's like I guess it's I don't know if this variant is like exclusive for the comic book shop that I go to, but it finally came from April. And then it'll take that many more months for me to give it to Tom.
now he's got to wait. He's got to wait on you to ship it, which is worse than CGC.
Well, what's funny is like I got my Secret Santa present like a couple weeks ago, and I just like put it in a box, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna ship it, and then I'm still not. I'm like, I have to do it this week, or he's not gonna get it by fucking Christmas. And then I bought one of these again.
Ooh.
It's
so now you have
CBCS.
So do you have a raw and that now, or
no? It's just the only one that I have. I think at one point I may have had a raw copy of this book, but I'm not 100% sure. There's that.
It's a great book to have.
Yeah, and then my Aliens 1. That came
What
back.
did that come back as? Oh, a 9.0. Nice.
Yeah, I didn't. I already posted it for sale.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Good, do it.
And then of course I've been talking to Mike like every single day. The thing that I sold the other day, and then I bought 2 of them. I spent way
so tell the story around that. I mean, I think there's an interesting story there. You got some really good deals.
So I kept asking Mike, like, I got this one for $600. I think what you were saying, like the GPA is like 800, like.
Yeah, there were some recent sales that were high.
And I only wanted it because it was newsstand, obviously, because they're.
Yeah.
And then this other guy had this one up for auction at like $480 or something like that, and no one had bid on it. So I messaged him and I was like, "Hey, I feel like the auction ended to like one day or something." And I was like, "Hey, if you'll just sell the book for $480 or whatever, $490, I'll just buy it." And he's like, "All right." So I didn't. Well, he had actually messaged me. I sent it like 2 days before I had bought the 7.0, and he was like, I had messaged him and I was like, "Hey, if you'll do that, I'll fucking buy it." And then I bought the 7.0. And then, like, the next day, he messaged me and was like, "Hey, yeah, I'll totally do that." And I was like, "Fuck." And I was, like, at work, and I was like, I messaged him back, and I was like, "Hey, man, I already bought a 7.0. I don't need the 6.5. And then he's like, "Okay, no worries." And I asked him, I was like, "Are you going to relist the book after the auction ends?" He goes, "I don't know. I'll think about it." And I was like, I was tattooing all day, and I was like, "Fuck, man, should I just buy the book? Like, it's only You know, like to me, it's going to be worth it because
I think it was a smart choice. I mean,
there's another reason that it's worth it, but I can't say it because.
Oh
Yeah.
So I mean, so no matter what happens with that character in the future, I think that there's still room. There's obvious room that those books are going to continue to grow. The other thing is, I think that people overprice those like lower, like mid to high grade books, like for a newer book like that, especially something like ASM 300 or 181 or like any of those books like that, or like those mid grades around that like 6.0, 6.5, like the people who are looking for those are like the collectors who like just want to own the book and like have it because they want the book, right? It's not the people looking for like I have to have a 9.0 plus, right? Or something like that. And so like that area up there can be so contentious and like difficult. And I think people automatically say like, well, a 6.5, if I do the math, I can post it for this much and get this much money. And it's like, no, you really can't. You have to post it for an honest price because the people who are buying this book are not going to overspend on it.
No.
So I think you got good deals, and now you're potentially, you say, which one do I want to keep? And the other one you could post for a reasonable price, still make some money on it. And
I think
you're in good shape. But once you get greedy with it and you're trying to like over post like or overprice a 6.5 or a 7.0 for a book that came out in the 90s.
I don't know if you can
or whatever, the 80s, whatever it is.
It's kind of hard to see, like, but you know how CGC is very like the plastic they use is pretty shit, and sometimes you'll get that like plastic on plastic touching, and on the 7.0, whenever he sent the picture, I didn't like, there was no plastic on plastic touching. Whenever I took it out of like the package, I was like, yo, what the fuck? And I like messaged him and he was like, so do you want to return it? And I was like, I mean, not really. Like I want to keep it, but it's kind of, I mean, and it's one of those things like I could sell it and then, somebody has to deal with looking at that plastic on plastic. Like it looks like moisture, but it's just like the fucking, like the light reflecting off the plastic touching or whatever.
Yeah. So I think Comic Crack just said, you don't think like you can read, you don't think guys are mostly buying the mid grades and cracking them to press and I think like, sure, they may be, I don't know. Right. But in my opinion, the smart move is to buy something that's a higher grade, crack it, press it, resub, because you're going to get more of a chance of getting that. Like if it's a 9.4, 9.6, even 9.2, 9.0, like you might get that bump enough.
Well, I mean, what sucks about that?
I'll say this: if people are buying like 6.0s, 6.5s of ASM 300, cracking them, spending the money to crack them, press them, and resub them to try and make a half a grade more, then you are not spending your money wisely. Because even if you get that half a grade pump, the amount of money you spent to do all that work, unless you're doing it yourself, which is still a lot of time to press, like, and all those books mostly have been pressed, so it's just like you're really taking a gamble at the subjectiveness of the grader, right? Like maybe this grader might say it's an 8.5 when this other grader said it was a 7.0.
Yeah,
it might happen, but at that point, like I could crack all of the books I have and resub them, hoping for a better grade. I understand it, and I think probably that's happening, but I don't know. I hope it's not happening, because if it is, people are just wasting their money. Like that's not the place you need to be doing it.
Well, it sucks too about that book. Like a lot of times you'll see. I mean, honestly, you couldn't tell the difference between the 7.0 and the 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, like, it's hard to tell the difference between a 7.0 and a 9.0 for a lot of people. Like,
but that book always there's always there's the spine ticks and shit like that on that book. I don't know why. It's just like, to me, it's never been like a completely flat fucking book. It's always just like, I don't know, like almost rounded. I can't explain it.
I'll also agree with Comics on the Edge here. Like I'm more than ever buying raw books on eBay is difficult, but when you're in person, if you're in a situation to buy raw books, especially big books, and understand what you're purchasing, more than not, you end up paying significantly less with those raw books than if it's already graded with a stamp on it that says, here's the grade. There's no move,
Definitely.
but you also have to know what you're doing, and you have to know like the nuances of the books. Like if you're buying Golden Age, some Golden Age only come with one staple, some come with 3 staples or 2 staples. So like you have to know, like, what does that mean? Like, are these new staples? Are these old staples? So if you're buying like a book that came out 10 years ago, all you have to worry about is like the edges, the corners, and the color breaks, which is relatively easy. But when you're dealing with like Silver Age and Golden Age books, it becomes way more difficult to understand. Is this staple original? Is there color touch? Do I need to put a UV light to this? Like, how much do I need to know about, like, has this been restored? Like, what's going on with this book? Because, like, if you're buying the newest variant that came out a couple years ago, you don't have to worry about color touch or staples or any of that shit. So
there's no restoration worries.
Yeah, there's no resto area. Yeah, and that's why some of the books, I mean, like when I'm going Golden Age, I buy already graded, because I do not, unless I can put it in my hands and look at it and touch it and put a UV light to it and do everything I need to do. I don't fucking know if there's color touch, and I am not going to pay money for a book that has resto on it, because you're going to be fucked. So it depends on what world you're dealing in, right? Like, and how much confidence you have in those worlds.
I can't find it. I was looking for this like in that collection that I bought. There was like this Golden Key like Tales of Science Fiction book that I found. It was super cool, but I don't know where the fuck it's at. But anyway, I also got.
Ooh,
it's probably like the best book out of the collection that I bought.
It's a book I've never owned.
I've never owned it either.
Yeah.
And then
Star Wars comics I just never got into, and like I feel like I should. She-Hulk. Oh wow.
Awesome. This one, it's kind of beat up though. And then I never owned this book either. The Rocket Raccoon book. I mean, there was a lot of. I mean, there was like a first rhino that like a rat had eaten like the bottom part of the book, which I thought it was cool. I mean, it's still like it looked cool. Like the cover was there was like some pages that were detached. Like, but I think it's the first rhino. I know.
Is that 42?
Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. I wasn't going to even show it. I was like, I'm not going to even show this stupid ass book. Anyway,
so those are pickups. So we're 45 minutes in. I think we should start talking about Hawkguy, huh? Hawkguy. Do you want to talk about the comic book, the show, all of it together? Just kind of go at it.
Yeah,
Tom, what do you think? Tom, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, just fucking mix it in there, because realistically, we're probably gonna refer back and forth to it, because you know, with the guy Hawkguy, as we say, that came from Grills. Grills would call Clint Barton Hawkeye, and I liked Grills, and then he, something happened to him, but I didn't notice until I rewatched an episode of the show. The black guy that is in the LARPing group, his name is Grills, and I was like, it's a callback thing. Yeah, totally not related to the character at all, in no way, shape, or form. But I was like, who's gonna name someone Grills unless they're doing that on purpose? So I was like, that's cool.
It's fun.
I honestly didn't think I was gonna like because it's Hawkeye. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
how many people actually like Hawkeye? I didn't really. I couldn't tell you if I loved or hated the art. To be completely honest,
I could.
I mean, it was.
Let's. What did you think, Tom? Did you hate the art?
No. Okay. So, I go ahead, Alan. I want you to finish your thought process there.
It was kind of like very like, I don't know. I would say like Neanderthal, kind of like it was simple. It was simple. It was super simple. I think why
I think there was intention around that.
But I think why I like the art is because I like the story. I think if the story wasn't so good, I would have hated the art. Like if it would just been a bad story, then I would have hated the art. But I think because I was so intrigued by the actual story that I was like, I don't mind the art that much. Like it wasn't bad. I didn't, I kept looking at it and I was like, this art's not great. But I was like, but the story's interesting enough. So it's like, do I hate the art or like, I don't know. I was confused.
It fit
So
the tone in my.
let's back up for 1 second, just so everybody knows. So we're talking about a series that came out in the mid 2000s, maybe 2010, somewhere around there, I think. And
I think
it
it's
is Matt
2014.
2014. Okay, so
I
it
could be
was
wrong. I don't know.
it was a 22 issue run about Hawkguy, written by Matt Fraction and art by David Aja, which is sometime informally pronounced as David Aja, which AJA, who is a fantastic artist, and a lot of his art is similar to this, but very different. And he is, in my opinion, spectacular. And it's a series that won Eisner Awards. It is acclaimed. It gets some of the best response from comic creators, fans, critics, all alike in the past couple decades as being one of the best or most influential comic runs of our modern age.
I mean,
So I'll put all that out there first, and then say everything else we have to say. Tom, I'm interested. Okay, what were you gonna say?
Didn't the Pizza Dog episode or like the issue alone like win an award, like an Eisner Award?
I think so.
Because it was like from the perspective.
Yeah, it was that one, and then the sign language one was one where they do a lot of the stuff in sign language. One, it won. I think it won probably more Eisners than a lot of books in a long time. Probably more than it might have been more than any. I'm not really sure.
More than Monstrous. No way,
Monstrous won one. So. And they tied for that one, so it wasn't even there. So
no way,
Tom, what did you think about the book, the art? Give us a brief overview, and then we can get into details.
So when we first talked about reading this and stuff, I sat down and I read, I think, the first 12 issues in one sitting. Issue 11 was the Pizza Dog episode or issue that I have had read on my own outside of this before I even read any other books or any other issues of this run, because I heard about it and I heard about the whole situation and I knew about Pizza Dog going into the show, and so I was kind of curious. But between that episode or that issue, I keep saying episode, that issue, as well as you saying with the sign language issue, I just read that was like 19 or 20.
Close to the end.
Yeah, where Clint, has some hearing damage again. And so there's a lot of signing in there. It's really cool. The way they've told stories throughout this whole thing is inventive. It's relied heavily on the art, even though the art isn't super detailed. When Kate Bishop goes to California for a little while, she has a different artist on her issues in California, and I like that. It's kind of showing you the differences there. The surprising thing I didn't like about the art was Francovilla's issues. He's got two of them, I think, and the first one where he's introducing the bad guy, the guy with the like white face paint, I can't remember his name. Yeah. It felt so out of place to everything else that I fucking hated it. And I love his artwork. I have
I was just gonna say, but you love him as an artist, right?
Are you talking about Clown?
Yeah.
Kazi?
Yeah. So that first issue when he was introduced was done by Francavilla, I feel is how you say his name. And normally, again, he does some of the best like noir looking books ever. And I get why they used him, but it was so out of left field, and I hated it. It was that first issue was like, it made me so upset.
So I agree that like when you're looking at Aha's art, you like, it's jarring when it changes, like especially the way I read it. Like I consumed all 22 issues in probably 2 days. Like I think I sat down and read like 10 issues, and then the next day I sat down and finished the rest of it, right? And I read it all on digital reader, and I just blew through it, including like whatever there was like including like crossover stuff like Avengers something or whatever.
I think the first volume was like Young
Some
Avengers
Avengers, but
presents
yeah.
Kate Bishop
But
Hawkguy or something like that. I skipped that. I did not read that.
I definitely think it was jarring. Like I don't know that I didn't like it. I agree. Like the Kate Bishop art when she was in California, separating the two stories was really awesome. I think when I think about his artwork, I understand what you mean as like the simplicity, and I think like maybe like you might say it's not refined, right? Like the lines aren't as clean. It's not as like you love Bernie Wrightson, and like so that I mean that is like the most. He
But
is
then-
somebody who's just like extensively, uh, like hyper specific and like he is super detailed and like very different, right? I
Sure.
think what I love about this art though, no matter whether you like the simplicity or not, the way the characters were able to express and emote what was going on, the way he drew the situations and the emotions, and like you knew what those characters were thinking and feeling and doing, and you could tell each character like definitively apart. Like it was spectacular. I thought like he was telling a story a lot of times without words and doing it really effectively.
And I'll agree with you 100% with the main Aha, is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, and I liked his art. And so, like I said, when we had those 2 issues that came out of Francovilla's stuff, I hated that. Everything else I enjoyed, and I just
Oh, so you did? Okay, all right. Oh, okay.
yeah, no, I enjoyed the art overall. I really did.
Yeah.
Did he love it?
Like you said, it was very simplistic, but told a story really, really well.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, as soon as that first issue hit in the middle of it, when it was introducing the villain, it took me out of the book completely. And so I was really happy that it went back to that directly after. I just didn't like that.
Can I stop y'all for a second? I feel like the light in my kitchen makes it seem like I'm on a fucking Skype call with y'all from prison. The quality,
there's going to be a guard tapping you on the shoulder saying, "Time's up."
It makes me feel like it's like a prison because it's like all like almost like grayish sort of.
Yeah,
I don't know. I got like a light right here too.
I don't know. I think it's like a
Comics
webcam or something.
He said he really enjoyed it when it was coming out and sold them all way too early. Unfortunately, this is one of those books like I wish like I could imagine what I would be feeling if I was reading this month to month. But also like with a lot of the books that are coming out in the past 10, 15 years, like much happier to read them and collected, like where I can breeze through it and like have that story, like, hey, it's 22 issues and the story's complete and there's a beginning, a second act, and an end, and you're done. Like I love that. I love doing that month to month as well. Like a lot, I'll like compare it to like a lot of the Tom King stuff. The 12 issues, like, bam, it's 1 year. You're going to read an issue a month, and it's going to be over in 12 issues, and you know it. And there's going to be a beginning, middle, and an end. And everything's going to be complete. You can like it or not, but here's the story. Like I like that. Like and I if I read this like month to month, I don't know what the impact would be compared to like what it was reading it all the way through.
I've enjoyed reading it as I was watching the show, only because I felt like the show was filling in parts where the book is so simplistic and telling a lot of, things are happening, but they don't necessarily have to show you everything. You know that it's impactful and this and that. And then you get the show where there's much more dialogue and, the tracksuit dudes, and you realize how many times they do say bro, because I'm like, it's ridiculous.
I literally screenshotted like one of them saying bro, and I was gonna send it to Mike, but I was like,
yeah. And then I picked up the book after watching that episode, and I'm like, they say this all the time.
It's great.
Directly from that. And I was like, it's fantastic. And so I think the two of them complement themselves really, or complement each other really well, even if like the main antagonist is the bad guy, right?
Antagonist is the bad guy.
Yeah, is different overall.
Yeah, you'll have to watch the next episode. You'll kind of.
Yeah, I Yahoo already fucking ruined it for me. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'll say like I'm worried that like I'm not worried because I think it'll be fine either way. But like, I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens either way. I won't talk on it too much because I don't want to know.
Use the phone. Okay, hold
on. I was trying to look for.
No, I was pretending like I was in prison and someone needed to use the phone.
Oh, no.
You did use the phone?
Talking
Time's up. Move along. Move along. Time's up. Move along.
I feel like a lot of people are hating on the show, though. I honestly think it's one of like the best fucking Disney Plus shows they've put out so far.
That's what I was going to ask, like where it ranks for you guys with the rest of them so far.
I mean, WandaVision's number 1 for me. This is probably number 2.
All right, guys. Good night.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
He does not agree with you.
No, I didn't like WandaVision.
Oof. Struggled through 3? I'm kind of surprised. The first 2 issues or first 2 episodes when it came out, I watched them back to back in Florida at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night because I thoroughly enjoyed it right away. I feel like this is better than Falcon Winter Soldier. I think it's roughly like parred up with Loki for me with the amount of enjoyment. I just watched the Carnage movie and that hot pile of dog shit that is a movie.
God.
And the whole buddy cop thing between Eddie and what's his bucket? Venom, I can't remember his name for some reason, was fucking terrible and I hated it. But when you have Kate Bishop and Hawkeye doing roughly the exact same shtick, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's very different, and
she's absolutely fantastic. Like,
I don't like the fact that she's wearing contacts to change her eye color. You notice that?
Yeah,
I don't notice that.
I didn't notice it till I got home and watched it on a big ass TV, like 5 feet away from it. And yeah, she wears like blue-eyed contacts that are definitely not her eye color, and you can tell, and it bugs me.
Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that. Thanks for bringing it up because now it's not going to go out of my head, and that's all I'm going to focus on. But I mean, I think she's just. I think the chemistry between the two of them is spectacular. I think I've never given a shit about. I think this is a perfect example of like. I'll go back to like Tom King. This is a perfect example of why I like these kind of things where Matt Fraction did it really well with the comic book. I don't know who the showrunner is of this show, but like they're doing it really well with this. They're taking somebody I don't give a fuck about and telling a story that I care so much about. And like, I don't care. I've never even cared or thought about Kate Bishop. And I didn't realize the impact that she had.
Can't stop thinking about her.
No. I'm just saying, like, I didn't realize, like,
Kate Bishop, I love you so much.
I don't really even care about her.
Me, like, Mike. I got a mustache. I love you, Kate Bishop.
But like, as a character,
it's me. I love you. Kate Bishop, be my girlfriend. It's me, Mike. I love you, Kate Bishop.
Sweet Jesus.
But as a character,
Kate Bishop, I love you.
He's having a seizure, I think.
Kate Bishop, I love you so much. It's me, Mike.
It is the first introduction for me. I knew nothing about her whatsoever, and then the show made me want to read the books, and I'm glad that I've done both. I don't know if I will continue to read her Hawkeye series or not, because I did see she has one that's on like 16 issues so far. I don't know how curious I am about that, but maybe 1 or 2 issues in, and we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think this is a character thing. I think this is a writer artist thing. Just like a lot of the, any of those kinds of, and like it's like Grant Morrison on Animal Man. Do I want to read everything that comes out about Animal Man? No, absolutely not. Most of Animal Man sucks. That's why there's not many Animal Man comic books. But Grant Morrison's Animal Man, maybe even Jeff Lemire's, I'm all for it. Let's read it. Let's go. I'll read every fucking issue. And same thing like with a lot of comic books. It's not about the character. It's never been about the character. It's about the people who are running the character and how you can connect with them. This is just a spectacular book. I mean, the show seems great. I still think WandaVision is spectacular. And I don't know how this is going to end, so I can't rate it. Why don't you go there? I'm sorry, what's the name you have down there? Fuck you, Rob. Fuck you, Rob. What do you think? How do you rate the shows, and how do you put this in your rating?
I think it's the best one.
One.
I would say Loki, but Loki started off kind of slow, and it took like a little minute to get to like the good shit. And this one has been kind of like good from the very beginning.
And we only have 1 episode left after today's, which is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know how they're going to end it, because the next episode is kind of weird. I mean, and I think the last episode. I think the 4th episode and the 5th episode were like 40 minutes long or something like that. They like cut the time on them. And I'm not sure about the last episode, but I mean, there's a lot, and maybe they'll just leave it open ended to go like tie into something else. Right. I mean, we saw fucking what's it called? What's her name? Black Widow.
Yeah,
White Widow. Yeah,
in the 4th episode. I watched Black Widow the other day, and I cannot stand listening to that woman talk.
I love her.
I think she's great. Yeah,
she's beautiful. But listening to her talk in that accent drives me fucking mad.
Yeah, I think her as an actor is spectacular.
Just wait, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Because
okay, I'll just wait for the 45 seconds that she probably speaks on this next episode.
Oh, okay.
Okay, or the next hour, or 45 minutes that she speaks. Like, I don't think it's going to change the way. I might change the way I think about her, but like, I thought she was the best part of the Black Widow movie.
She was the best part.
Fantastic,
as long as she wasn't talking.
Yeah, I thought that her witty humor was fun and enjoyable, and I enjoyed her as a character. And I think I don't overthink these things because they're comic book movies that we get every 6 months, and who really cares? I know you do. You hate everything. You're basic. I really only like you because I like people like Gigi Allen, and like you're the closest thing I know to a living Gigi Allen.
I did shit on the floor and eat it.
I'm sure you did. I don't doubt that.
What's the okay? So out of the 3 of us, what's the weirdest place you've taken a shit?
Okay,
it has to not be in a toilet.
One time, I was tripping on ecstasy, and I was in my friends' apartments, and they had it was like one of those like apartments where you the front door is downstairs, and you just walk up the stairs, and then there's the apartment. So the only bathroom was in between the 2 rooms, and it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and both of them had like gone to sleep, so they had locked their doors, and I couldn't get into the bathroom. So I decided that it was like diarrhea shit. So I decided that I was going to put my ass over the balcony. Like they had like a little back patio, and I put my ass over the balcony and diarrhea shitted onto the fucking downstairs neighbor's patio. You could hear it too. I mean, like when it's like super dark outside and like real like early, you can't hear anything. There's not like cars driving around. You could just hear like plop, 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 like fucking hitting the ground. And then I used my shirt and I just threw it on the ground. Like I threw it over the balcony onto there.
I don't think either of us is gonna top that. So we'll just let that
So, end of the segment. I don't know. Like I've attempted an upper decker before.
I've never done that.
I think that's about it. And we did
Wait,
that in college.
you shit on some girl's chest?
No, I think that's called a.
That's a chili dog when you do that.
Well, no, chili dog. Chili dog specific. I think.
You shit on a glass mirror while someone was laying underneath it?
No,
Like, never done that.
No, I think the closest I've ever come to like having weird shit things is watching Jackass and Rab himself shit on the window of after eating a bunch of X-Lax. I can't say that I've really done much shitting in public or crazy stories like that. So
I definitely don't have a shitting off a balcony story.
Yeah.
I met a girl and we started dating or whatever, and I was like 16 years old, and I was driving home. It was real late at night, didn't know what to do, and I was gonna poop my pants. And I remember pulling off to the side of the road, and I opened the passenger door and the back door, and then just like squatted between them and just took a shit. Like it was on the sidewalk, and I had a bunch of napkins, and I wiped it and left it and took off. So. There's DNA in the streets.
There's DNA in the streets.
There was also this one time I shit into a diaper. Like I don't know about y'all, but I have to shit as soon as I wake up in the morning. Like not like as soon as I wake up, but like maybe like an hour after I wake up. So I'm
it's
like
a morning routine.
Yeah, I'm like awake, and my youngest daughter's mom is like in the bathroom getting ready for work, and I'm like, hey, I have to shit, and she's like, no, I'm getting ready for work. And I'm like, fuck, I have to shit. Like, if I have to shit, I have to shit. Like, there's no holding this shit in. Like, it's coming, regardless if I want it to or not. So I'm like looking around, and I'm like, I can just go in the backyard and shit. But then I'm like, I don't want to shit in the backyard. My dog runs around in the shit. Like I don't want my dog to run around in the shit. So I grab one of the baby's diapers. I fucking drop trowel in the house, and I go into the backyard because whenever you shit, you also piss. Like it's just like a thing. Like you're always gonna piss whenever you shit. There's no getting around it. Like
I do not.
You don't always piss whenever you shit.
I almost never piss when I shit, which is really weird. I don't know.
So anyway, I go into the backyard. I hold the diaper to my fucking dick and like around my butt, and I shit into this diaper in the backyard. And and there's like houses that could honestly see into the backyard that I'm in. I mean, this is like, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning. And I just threw it in the trash. I wiped my butt with baby wipes. But I mean, I've shit in front of gas stations and trash cans. Like I've shit behind trash cans in apartment buildings.
I shit in a bedpan one time and left it on my uncle's doorstep and tried to videotape it. Like I rang the doorbell and ran away because I thought Jackass was the coolest thing in the entire world as a teenager.
It was. I mean, Jackass was pretty cool.
And that was fun. But then I had to actually clean out the bedpan afterwards, and that was the rankest smelling thing I've ever smelled.
I've one time took a picture of it and sent it to my uncle on a birthday card, and he was not. For some reason, he was not happy about it. Like he just
some reason
it was like a Polaroid photo of like a toilet full of shit, and.
All right, so ratings.
But really, I'll be driving, and then I'll be fine. I'm like, oh, the one time I told you the story about the one time I went to the guy's house and I bought the comic books and I shit in his house.
Yeah,
I'll be completely fine, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh no, I gotta shit. I will start sweating. I will get angry. I have to shit no matter what.
I have shit in my pants on multiple occasions because of that.
Yeah, I sometimes I'll eat and I'm chilling and I'm like, oh, we're gonna go, and I'm like, maybe I should shit before I leave, because if we get in the car and we're stuck in traffic, I'm gonna shit on the side of the road. I don't want to shit in my pants, and I'm not afraid, but I just don't want to shit in my pants.
Right.
I wish my 3-year-old had that same mentality, Alan. Thank you for sharing that with me. Appreciate it.
So Matt Fraction's 22-issue run of Hawkguy. What did you go ahead, Mike? Tell us what you rate this book.
Um,
From shit in the toilet to shit in the streets.
I I have to say, like, I'm probably.
Is the toilet good and the streets bad?
Who knows?
I don't know where to put it there. Yeah,
I'd have to say out of street, I'm like 3 streets out of 5 streets, and for toilet, I'm like 5 toilets out of 5 toilets.
You
No, I'm
love
just
the
joking.
toilet, huh?
I love the toilet. No, I'm just joking. I think this is like a solid. I don't know how I delineate the rating, right? But I think this is like. I'm not going to say this is a 10 out of 10, but this is like a 9, 5 out of 10 for me. Like I fucking loved every issue, every panel of this series. I loved it all.
Bro.
It was different. It was not. And I'll tell you this. I don't really care for much Marvel stuff, like especially the newer Marvel stuff. Like I can appreciate the older stuff, and like I can appreciate the real like early 2000s stuff that was coming out, and like Marvel Knights and a lot of that stuff. But I just don't care for it. This made me care for a character that I fucking could never think about even caring about, even in the movies. And it was brilliant, and it was different, and it was refreshing, and it was spectacular. And I think 9.5 out of 10. I have no problem saying that overall. I won't split it up because I can't. I don't know how to delineate it. But I think that also speaks to how important it is to have a connection between the artist and the writer that makes the whole experience feel like one, where it's not separated. It was so in tune. They were so in tune with each other. So 9.5.
That's why those 2 issues pissed me off so much, because I felt like it was so different. It was so
Yep.
taken out of it. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like the story didn't feel as important anymore. And again, like I said, the Kate Bishop stuff, while she was in California, it made sense to have a different artist because it was a different tone. She was dealing with something totally different, and I was okay with that. Overall, I would probably give it a 8.5. And I do that because again, it's a Marvel book that I never would have picked up otherwise. It's
This
a
is
Marvel book.
This is Mike's fault.
This is 100%, and I'm glad, because again, it took something that, like you said, none of us cared about to begin with, a character we didn't care about, honestly, a publisher we haven't cared about in a really long time, and it took that more of an indie feel to it, in my opinion, with the way the story was written and the way the art presented itself. It felt way more like an indie book, so it took out the like, it wasn't like I was reading Jason Fabok do Batman. You know what I mean? It was it wasn't a super stereotypical like thing, that you're used to with that type of a character. And so it made me feel for that character. It followed what I think Mike would enjoy the most with the Tom King, like Mr. Miracle style type of thing, where you took a character not a lot of people are talking about, you put them in a very real situation, and it made you care about the person necessarily more than the character itself. And so I think the comic did a really good job telling the story, introducing some new characters to me that I knew nothing about beforehand, and the show is very complimentary to that so far. So 8.5 overall, at least, I would say.
That's all. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I like that it was like funny without trying to be funny. I think that was like the biggest thing. Like it wasn't like it didn't try over, like it didn't try so hard to be funny, where it was just kind of like, oh, that didn't really land. So I can't remember what book we read where it was like it just was trying to be funny and didn't really land. Was it?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but I like that.
But,
I mean, I like that.
It's like self-aware. I think is like I think even like the things that were like over like the bro thing, where it was like, all right, this is like, I think it knew how, like he was conscious, he was self-aware of how he was coming across. Like he knew this was repetitive and obnoxious and ridiculous, and I think it worked, right? Like the humor was like I don't know. I feel like it worked really well. He was aware of how obnoxious it was.
Yeah.
No,
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 yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I was just thinking about because I had read it today. And I remember like how there's a good parts from the book inside the TV show, like the part where they're or I can't remember what in the actual TV show, but where she's talking about the boomerang arrow. And it's actually in the book, it's split. He's talking about the boomerang arrow, and she's like, "Why would you want a boomerang arrow?" And he's like, "It comes back." And but
Yeah, that whole car scene in the show where she's learning and finding out all these weird trick arrows.
yeah,
And in
yeah.
the book, it's flipped over to where it's a vice versa situation. It was really cool.
yeah. She's awesome. She's like a boomerang arrow. It comes back to you. She was so excited.
And he's kind of like,
he,
he's like, this is stupid. Like, why would you want to?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's just kind of like flipped in the book where she's like, that's stupid. Why would you want a boomerang arrow?
yeah.
He's
And
like,
he's like, it comes
so
back to you.
yeah.
Yeah, but he's just like he's got like that hand on his head, like he's just like like so frustrated, and he's just like because it comes back to you. He's just like that like old man. He's just like tired and
I'm also happy he didn't have a wife and kids in the book.
yeah. Well, I mean, he never has.
Well, I know, but I know that that's different. But I feel like if that part was in, like, it wouldn't have been as fun to me, I guess.
No,
Because kids suck.
that I'm pretty sure that was only created for
Kids are horrible.
I have fucking two of them. They're yeah.
That's one thing I learned with this too. I didn't know that who was he married to? Spider-Woman, right? And
So he was
yeah, so they make a quick mention of that and how that was like a very like bad divorce kind of situation to where he had to show up, and I don't know if this was a tie-in with something else or if it was
that
just
was in
part of the book.
Avengers. I don't know which one. One of the I think Brian Michael Bendis Avengers.
I just like it because he's like someone you can relate to. Like, he doesn't have superpowers. Like, bad shit's always happening to him. Like, that's me. No superpowers.
Yeah, nobody likes you.
Nobody likes me.
Everybody calls you by the wrong name.
I'm super rich.
You're super rich.
Yeah.
He's not super rich. I don't like. He's a like Hawkeye is like a thief. He's like he's a
I'm super
swindler.
rich.
He's not
I'm
like
super rich.
I'm a rich bitch. Yeah. I don't know. It makes me want to like read more about him. I think the problem is like the rest of it is not very good. So like this is like the best that there is for like these like him as a character. Like I think you could go back and read like West Coast Avengers, where he's like the leader of the West Coast Avengers. It might be fun, it might be interesting, but it's going to be just like Bronze Age Marvel comic books, which is not a bad thing, but it's a very specific thing.
Yeah,
and you have to like expect that. And like I like that. Like I'm not going to say I don't like that. Like I love that Bronze Age, Fantastic Four, like X-Men.
Well, they also
stuff.
have the what is it? The all new, all different Hawkeye. That's like separate from
the newer stuff. You mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like after this, like they put out a whole series that was just Kate Bishop.
Well, there is a Kate. There is a Kate Bishop Hawkeye, but there's I can't remember if the all new, all.
Yeah, all new. Yeah, they did that. That was like back in like 2011.
Is that not Hawkeye also?
Or that's the first. I think that was the first time. All new, all different. Avengers, all new, all different. Spider-Man, all that stuff was. I think that was the first time they did like the quote unquote New 52 thing for Marvel. That was like in 2000.
Isn't DC about to do that again?
I mean, they do it every fucking 2 years now at this point, both of them. So I don't know. I have no idea. I don't pay attention. I have no DC or Marvel books on my pull list except for a few Black Label from DC. Like 2, maybe 1, and it's like a Joe Hill horror book. It's not even anything specific.
Yeah. Refrigerator full of heads.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah, I have the first 2 issues. I haven't read them yet. I need to read them.
It's pretty good. It's worth it because I was kind of worried that because Basket Full of Heads was good and it was fun and Joe Hill wrote it.
Yeah.
But then the next one, Refrigerator Full of Heads, is not written by Joe Hill, but it's been just as fun so far.
Yeah, but his whole thing was like he wrote a few of them, and then he also had other people writing some of the other first, I don't know, first editions, whatever the fuck you want to call them, of that. So I hope they keep doing it. It's been fun. It's been good. I've read most of them. I think there's a few that it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. There was a good gap, thankfully, where because they did like I think 5 different titles and they all ran about 5 issues, and then once they ended, they didn't do anything for a good felt like 6 months or so, and then they just started back up with this one. So I like that.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. I think it gives space. Like it comes out once a month. It's not every 2 weeks. Like I'm just done. I'll like if a book comes out every 2 weeks, like I'm just automatically I'm done with you. Like this is the first time in a long time that I have not gotten Spider-Man and Batman in my pull list in I don't know 12 13 years maybe.
Yeah,
maybe probably longer. So it's like, but like every 2 weeks of like shitty writing that I don't care about,
right.
Over it.
Comic Crack literally would just said everything will change every fucking year. It seems like, and that's very true.
It's so true. Yeah, and it just becomes more and more. It's like, and it's like people are like, oh, like Joshua Williams just took over Batman, and I think it was Joshua Williams. I think it was Williams. I don't know who it was. Either way, somebody new just took over Batman, and everybody's like, oh, it's so different. And I'm like, that's great. I don't know if I care, and like I don't know, like I'll put it on my pull list, and I'll have 20 issues out of it, and like if it's really that good, I'll buy the trade later and care more about it because I can't take it in and off. Like I'd rather just focus that time on like some Aftershock 6-issue series that's going to be fun and different and enjoy it.
Yeah. Do either of you have anything else to say about this book or TV show before I walk away?
What are we reading next week?
Who knows? I have a new Kickstarter book we could read.
Let's do it.
I've always got those. They're piling up on me.
Let's do it.
Well, we can figure out what we're gonna do.
Oh wait, next week is Christmas, huh?
Sure is.
Well, yeah. Saturday is Christmas.
We may be back next week. We may not be.
I mean, I can be back next week.
I could too, actually.
Yeah, so can I.
So what else were we were supposed to read something else? What was the other thing we were going to read?
We were reading Captain America.
Oh.
Metal Arm.
Oh, yeah. We were?
Well, me and Mike were.
Ed Brubaker's run.
Oh.
Yeah, where Winter Soldier comes into play.
Yeah, it's like what? 12 issues or something? It's not even that long.
I don't think it's that long.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's, I love Ed Brubaker. Big fan of
I think it is.
And Patel and all that stuff.
So y'all want to do that? Y'all want to do that? Captain America?
We can do that, yeah.
Sweet.
Because we were going to read that first, and then Mike was like, man, this Hawkguy thinks slaps. I was like, calm down, Mike. And he's like, we should do this because of the TV show. And I was like, yeah, but we got to ask Tom. What if Tom doesn't like Hawkguy?
And then it ends up that Tom is the guy.
That's why I didn't want to read it at first, because I was just tired of hearing stories about how shitty my life's been. You know?
I laughed so hard whenever I made that photo. I couldn't find the same font to match the Hawk part, and like whenever I think I did find it, but it wouldn't fit in there, and I was like, I'm just gonna use this other font and make it smaller, and like just kind of scoot it in there, and I was like,
yeah, it worked.
Like, I've got to find a picture of Tom. I think it's like a picture of you getting tattooed or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, it's good.
And I just put it on there, and I was like, this looks great.
It's a thumbnail for this episode.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Right. I think the name of this episode is Alan and Mike do Hawkguy too. I think that's what I needed.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
should be pretty fun.
All right. Well, I think we're done. So go read Hawkguy. You've got 22 issues and an annual. You can skip the tie-ins because it doesn't matter. Watch the TV show and form your own opinion. Maybe
wait. Are we talking about Spider-Man next week?
Ooh.
Are you going to see Spider-Man, Mike?
I can see Spider-Man probably on Monday. Yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah,
because I know me and Tom are seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah,
I can't see it tomorrow. I want to, but I just can't. So, I
we
think
to text you everything.
I can see it on Monday.
I was thinking about Instagram and what is it? The Instagram Live. Spoilers while I'm inside the movie theater.
Oh, like going live. Going live.
Well, it sucks too because I'm going. Like, have y'all ever been to the movies where it like stretches the screen onto the sides of the? I'm going to see it that way because it had like less people in the movie theater because like whenever I bought the tickets online, you have to like reserve the seats, and I was like, fuck, I don't really want to sit next to somebody. So I'm freaked out about COVID, man. The new shit is like driving me crazy.
Are you boosted?
No.
Are you fully vaccinated?
Come on, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no, I am. I just didn't get the booster because I got the shot late, so I don't think it's time for me to get the booster shot yet.
Just get the booster.
I can't find a place that'll let me do it yet.
Really?
Because I didn't get my shot until June, like late June. I think it has to be like a certain amount of time.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
all right, everybody.
That was.
It's funny. I was cooking earlier.
I live in Michigan now, so
I was making chicken pot pie earlier, and I didn't have any butter, and I had to go next door to my next door neighbor's house, and they don't speak English. And I was like, butter, and she's like, and then she had to get her son, and I was like, I'll buy you some more butter. I'm so sorry. And then that's what happened.
in the words of Comic Crack, later.
Bye. It's been fun. We'll see you next week. Most likely.
Next week,
talk about Spider-Man.
We might read a book. What was the name of that book again, Alan? What book are we reading next week?
Oh,
Winter Soldier.